Still with me on the football show this morning, Sue Smith and Stephen Warnock. Sue, let's come to you. So, FA Cup, once again, Arsenal's remaining hope, albeit with Manchester City in the semi-final. Would a victory in this competition and a trophy for Mikel Arteta mask over what has happened this season?
I'm not sure it would mask over what's happened. It would certainly be a welcome addition to have that trophy. But we know that Arsenal still need to make improvements. We've seen the development maybe under Arteta, but he knows that he's still got a lot more to improve on. But of course, an FA Cup win would certainly be the start of something and something to maybe build on for the team and for him. But I think he still knows that he's got a big job ahead.
Yeah, it could also prove to be their best hope of a place in Europe, couldn't it, Stephen? How vital is it for Arsenal if they're going to attract some new recruits this summer that they can at least offer them some European football?
I think that's it, and I think it shows progression in Mikel Arteta's career as well as a manager at such an early stage of his management career. Is that if he can win the FA Cup and get some silverware, it shows that he's a winner. And I think that's something that attracts players to clubs as well. I think if you can obviously offer them European football as well, that's an added incentive, and it's something that draws players to the club. So I think it's vitally important, not only for the manager, and I think it's the players that they're trying to recruit as well. Plus, I think the board, to be able to back the manager then to say, OK, if he's going to win us the FA Cup with the squad that he's got in place at the moment, what would he do if we could attract more players to the squad? And I think that's something that Mikel Arteta will be striving to do.
Yeah, it looked like last summer they put the vast majority of their transfer eggs in the Nicola Pepe basket, didn't they? 16th goal involvement, though, for Arsenal this season in all competitions. What's your assessment of him, Sue, and how does Arteta get the best out of him?
I think it was difficult for him coming in, a huge price tag. The expectation was certainly on his shoulders, and he's not always impressed, but what he has done is shown glimpses and flashes of that real quality. I thought he was good yesterday, particularly in the first half. When he got on the ball, you thought that something was going to happen. It was a real calm penalty of his. So he's certainly, he's probably just needed that time to adapt. He's still young. When you come for such a huge amount of money, I think everybody expects you to hit the levels really, really quickly. And sometimes it just takes players a little bit more time to adapt. But those glimpses that we've seen, if he can continue to do that on a consistent enough basis, I think it'll be a fantastic signing.
Yeah, there is the argument that the future could be quite promising for Arsenal, Stephen. They've got a young manager in there, and they're getting some good young players into that side. Do you buy into that argument?
I do. I think we spoke openly when Mikel Arteta got the job, and we wondered what he was going to be like. Everyone was saying, well, it's an exciting appointment. There was others that were saying it's too big a job for him for his first job. I think we all sort of wondered how he'd handle being at Arsenal and what his temperament would be like. I think he's acquitted himself very well. The style of football that we've seen, OK, the results haven't quite followed, but that's, for me, not being his fault that much. You think of individual mistakes that have cost them games. But I think with the personnel that he wants to bring to the club, he'll certainly want to bring other players into the club that he feels will improve them. I think he'll improve the players that he's working with in the squad as well. And I think next season, I think you'll see a different Arsenal. I think you'll see a different mentality from within. I think the messages that he's trying to get across to the players are very clear and obvious. And I think you can see that the players enjoy playing for him as well. And that's a huge battle. When you think of Unai Emery in his time at Arsenal towards the end, there was almost a feeling that he'd lost the changing room, that they didn't believe in what he was doing. But I think the players fully believe in what Mikel Arteta is trying to achieve, and they enjoy playing that style of football.
How do you handle the Matti OQuinn situation, Sue?
It's tough, isn't it? I think, we know he's a player with quality. We've seen, his work rate, his endeavour, how brave he is on wanting to get on the ball and wanting to make things happen, even when things don't quite go his way. If he's not performing at a level that we expect him to perform at, he'll still go looking for the ball. He never, ever hides. So he's clearly got that ability that I'm sure Arsenal will want. But Mikel Arteta, he's even though he's not a real experienced manager, he's gained experience working with Pep, coming in now as the Arsenal manager. I think he'll deal with things in the right way, and he'll deal with him in the right way.
Another game, though, another injury for Arsenal, this time to David Luiz. Stephen, why, of all those teams in restart, does it appear that Arsenal have suffered most from injuries?
Well, again, I think it comes down to how they're preparing. The change of style from the training under Unai Emery into Mikel Arteta will take time. I remember when Jurgen Klopp first took over at Liverpool and there was players getting hamstring injuries. They were getting muscular injuries on a more regular basis. And he was just saying, we've got to keep getting you fitter, get you stronger. And I believe that Mikel Arteta will be saying the same thing, that, okay, this is the way we're going to train full time, and you're going to have to get used to it. So there's going to be more work that's going to have to be done in the gym. But in this short space of time, the way the games have been played, I think there was going to be muscle injuries. How are the players recovering? How are they looking after the bodies when they go home? Are they doing the right things? These questions sometimes can be out of a manager's control. Are they eating the right foods after a game and in between? And sometimes the manager can only do so much, and the players have to look at themselves as well. But it can be the other way around, where the player's trying to do everything he can, and perhaps the training methods aren't suiting the player, and he needs to sit down with the medical staff and the fitness staff, the sports scientists, and try and get things right.